Hi, Democrats. Today is Friday, January 26th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. It's been a full and kind of crazy week where we talked about some of the ridiculous legislation being brought by the supermajority Republicans in our state. We talked about the governor and the superintendent of public instruction and pulling publicity stunts to keep their names in the papers. We talked about the fact that, on the Democrat side, they're putting forth bills that are actually going to improve the lives of Oklahomans, like including mental health doctor's appointments as excused absences for school-aged children. There are things that there are bills that are meant to improve our lives. There are bills that are meant to make Oklahoma a more welcoming state for businesses who might want to come here. And then there are bills like the Bigfoot bill and the children are coming to school as furries bill, all of that nonsense that gets us on TV looking like a bunch of yokels. That's just the reality of it. But all of these people that I'm talking about, and there are people in the public sector, in the private sector who are doing crazy things. That's not who I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about elected officials, right? And when people look at us on the national stage, they see the dumb furry bill, and they see some of the crazy bills. They see our superintendent of public instruction making up a job to make sure that someone who, as far as I'm concerned, inspired terrorist attacks, we give them a job. Our governor will move his buddies and friends from board to board to get them to vote for things that he wants. And then he moves them to the next board to get what he wants. And then that feels like too much power in the hands of one man. But that's where we are. And that's what people see when they look into Oklahoma. What I see while I'm here is that there are bad actors, but they're also, I'm sixth generation Oklahoman. And I know that there are good people here. And I know that there are good legislators here, but they're being drowned out by the crazy. The way that we combat that drowning out, all of that noise, is that we elect more common sense legislators who mean to improve our state. It's really that simple. And you're going to hear me say that over and over again, because I think we keep losing sight of it. The way we drown out the crazy noise is to elect more people who are running to improve Oklahoma, not trying to run to improve their profile, not trying to figure out how they can set themselves up to be a pundit on national TV or whatever the governor and the superintendent's motives are. But what we have to figure out is, what can we do to elect more Democrats? And it's really pretty simple. We register. And we register as a Democrat, so that if there's a Democrat in your district or ward who's thinking about running, can see that there's a path to winning because there are registered Democrats. We support them as soon as they say something we can believe in. I'm not saying support any racco, regardless of what letter they have behind their name. But as soon as they say something you can get behind, support them. Because early support is what keeps folks focused and what keeps people wanting to run and believing that they have a chance. Support them. That could be in your time, talent, or treasure, right? Do you have time to drive them around while they're knocking doors? Do you have the talent to help them design some of their mail pieces? And do you have the treasure to write a couple of checks? They need all of that. And there is no check that's too small. They will take every check and use it diligently. And I will tell you, giving to a Democrat, your dollar goes further because they know that they're getting less and they make them go further. So run for office, support Democrats, be registered as a Democrat. That's how we get more Democrats on the ballot. It's happening already. We at the party and me on my personal cell and all of my socials are people who are already complaining that we're not running enough candidates. Filing hasn't happened, so how do they know? But people are already saying, what are we doing to make sure that there's a Democrat on every ballot? Well, let me tell you something. I'm but one person, and I'm out here working my heart out along with my team. And I know that there are people who I don't know who are out there recruiting people. There are people who I don't know who are out there helping candidates, but we need more of that. We all need to coalesce and get together and run as many candidates as we can find. But again, once somebody braves it out and toughs it out and puts their name on the ballot, we've got, excuse me, we've got to support them. So in 2022, we had two candidates for governor on the Democrat side. We had two, and they were very different people. Democrats had choices for governor, choices. And folks sat it out because either they thought we didn't have a shot, and we absolutely don't have a shot if we don't all vote, or they got in their camps, and once their person wasn't in, they didn't vote, or they held their votes because they were waiting. Whatever the reason is, it's not just a matter of putting names on the ballot. We have to support them. We have to support the Dem, because now we have a governor who's on national TV who is talking casually, willy-nilly, loosey-goosey, talking about civil war. Absolutely talking about banning with a couple of states and fighting against the federal government. And I don't mean writing legislation. I don't mean going and negotiating something different for those certain states. No, he's actually talking about banning the military force of several states. And I'm not going to mention the other states because maybe they don't know. But gathering the military force of several states and going and fighting the federal government. That's civil war. He didn't say the word civil war, but just based on what civil war is, that's what civil war is. Our governor was casually, I don't even know if it hit him that he was talking about civil war, but he was casually just chit-chatting on national news about taking up arms against the federal government. This is what happens when not enough Democrats show up to vote. This is what happens when we put choices on the ballot and Democrats stay home. We had choices. We had an alternative to this governor. It's real. And so when I hear people say, well, I'll vote when it matters, I have to say it matters every time. If you felt like you couldn't vote for one of the qualified women that we had run for governor on the Democrat side, this is the end result. Oklahoma has a governor who casually talks about civil war. Oklahoma has a governor who doesn't learn from past mistakes. He has insisted that our state legislature go into special session on Monday, which is just a week before regular session, which they could have taken it up in regular session. But he has insisted that they take up a special session, which, as Representative Dolan's explained to us yesterday, is $34,000 in change per day extra for this full session to talk about tax credits that are no different from the tax credits that we did in 2017, 2018 that ended us with a budget deficit. Just learn from recent mistakes. But that's the governor we have. And I'm using him as a prime example of why we have to vote, why it is important that we vote. And if you're saying that it doesn't apply to your life, here's what I get to say. I get to say that's the most privileged position that I hear on the regular. It does apply to your life. Our governor, who wasn't happy with the broadband money, he set up several broadband tax forces from money that the Biden administration gave us in 2021. And finally, this week, we finally gave out our first grant to expand broadband access. Really? This is the governor that we have. Now, I'm picking on the governor. We have folks in other positions that are annoying and would be better suited to be private citizens. would be better suited to be voters. But the only way that we replace them is that we run against them. Now, it's easy for me to say it because I have the benefit of being represented by a Democrat in both the House and the Senate, State House and State Senate. But we don't all have that. And so if you're asking why I don't run, I have two people that I support. But I'm asking you to think about running. Think about running for office. The Oklahoma Democratic Party is putting on a recruitment event on March 2nd in Norman. So save the date. We're getting ready to put out all the information. That's on March 2nd. We're doing a big candidate recruitment event. Tell you what you need to know, what the steps are for running. That's on March 2nd. It's going to be in Norman, Oklahoma. That's one big recruitment event, but we're always here to help people who are thinking about running. So if you're thinking about running, give us a call, let us know, send us an email. We are back focused on seeing if we can help candidates find the resources that they need, because we need as many candidates running as we possibly can. I had some really yucky news that I was going to share, and I'll save it for Monday. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back here Monday at 4:15.